Hey friends, I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. I'm wearing the same shirt as yesterday because Joshua was wearing the same shirt as yesterday. So I figure, you know, solidarity for us dirty streamers. No, don't wash your t-shirts after every time you wear them. It'll ruin them. Unless you get all smelly and stinky. But, you know, live streaming is not a very strenuous task. I don't typically get all that sweaty. Stormrider FPV was first in the chat. Hockey Rounds is next. RT McKinley, Denzel, the Terrible, Juicy FPV, Volusia, Kevin Sumner, Brandon Woodford, McMucus, Brandon Woodford again, Mary Man, FPV, Hockey Rounds again, Chris Mel, McMucus, Douglas Otwell, Frank Nicholas, Free Lojo, Adam Weston, McMucus, Kevin Sumner, Brandon Woodford, Free Lojo, Torpedo Lars, Vicky FP Avery, Morton Upshot, Meadow Nerdskin, Dana Schuland, Denzel the Terrible, RC Ritter 661, and Nathan Wigan. What's up, friends? If I missed anybody, sucks to be you, huh? Sorry. Get used to it. Hey, if you want to get my attention in chat, type my name and spell it right. You don't have to put an @ in front of it, but you can if you'd like. If you type CiottiFPV, or if you type anybody's name in chat, and you spell it right and you get the spaces in the right places, for that person and that person only, it'll light up an orange like this. So do it. Because, you know, in the real world, you wouldn't just start mumbling to someone. You would say like, yo, Jim, and then you mumble. Do the same thing in chat. Where else? YouTube, stop telling me to put ads in. I don't like it. I don't want it. Tonight, we are going to actually finish the HappyModel Mobula7 1S ELRS Walksnail build. Problem I'm having with it is the 1S, the Walksnail 1S non-light VTX has a heat sink on it. And that heatsink is too thick, and it's pushing into the AIO, which will not work. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to solve that. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but so you'll have to stick around to find out. Speaking of Walksnail stuff, in our patron hangout, Patreon text channel, 3 Feet FPV did a really great little test. He tested the non-heat synced Walksnail VTX versus the heat synced Walksnail VTX, and without the heat sink, he would get the overheating warning in 20 seconds. The heat sink version, where is it? The first overheating warning was at 1 minute and 18 seconds. So a full extra minute. And it got to 100 Celsius at 1 minute 48 seconds on the bench with the heatsink installed. And that's no airflow whatsoever. So yeah, my God, removing the heatsink, go figure, makes a huge difference. So yeah, shout out to 3 Feet FPV. You can check out his posts over on Patron Hangout on the Discord channel. You can get to the Discord channel one of 2 ways. You can join my Patreon so that I can keep doing this full time. And it'll cost you as little as 7.5 cents per hour of content. Ain't that worth it? Come on now. Little fly, get out of here. Or you can head over to CiottiFPV.com. So that's going to get you full access, which will get you into the Patron Hangout text channel where you can see 3 Feet's numbers. Or you can go to CiottiFPV.com, scroll all the way down, and I've got a link to the Discord here. There are 7 open to anyone text channels. But yeah, if you got a couple of bucks and you would like this to continue, click this button here and join my Patreon for as little as $3 a month. I almost forgot. And yeah, I'll keep going forever. Patreon helps me out the most. There's also Etsy. There's a lot of benefits to joining the Patreon too. Just trust me. You're gonna love it. It's well worth 10 cents a day. Over on Etsy, there's some stickers and some fun hardware. Over on Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me. We'll get you flying better, tuning better, building better. Stop buying components that catch on fire. You waste 40, 50, 60 bucks every time you do it. You can give me that same amount of money, and I'll tell you which ones not to buy. And then you'll save time and money in the long run. Over on Teespring, I got some fun shirts and some other stuff. If you want to do a super chat, but you don't want YouTube to take 30%, you can use this PayPal button. Do me a favor, in the chat, say, yo, CiottiFPV, check your PayPal. And then I've got all these affiliate links. If you're ever ordering on the internet, you should be using someone's affiliate link. It's free money, and it helps that person live and eat and feed their children, potentially. I have affiliate links to WeBleedFPV, Newbie Drone FPV Cycle, Amazon Get FPV, Oh My God HD, Zero Fly, Wii Max Band, Good Camera Butter, AliExpress. If someday I'm going to change the order of these, and I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to rip through them that quickly. And then I'm going to pee my pants. So stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss that. Man wets himself live on stream. Denzel the Terrible says, oh my God, is this a stream with that gangly guy with the hair named CiottiFPV or something like that? It is indeed. Brandon Woodford says, hey guys, hey CiottiFPV. Frank Nicholas dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Adam Weston says, looking forward to this. I'm not. This is where builds kind of get annoying. Fair warning. So if you don't like cursing, hover over that mute button, because there's going to be some screaming tonight working on this thing, I'll bet you. Maybe not. Maybe it'll go completely easily. Freeloader dropping the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. Try to find my place. Torpedo Law clicked Bardwell's link to get here. Good to have you, Torpedo. Hopefully you're still around after such an insane beginning to the stream. It's not really insane. This is pretty standard fare around here. Metadredson says, I learned something interesting when I raced the Street League quad. It flies a lot like a tiny whoop because the power to rate ratio is similar. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny flying bigger quads that have like 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1 power to weight ratios, because yeah, they kind of fly like tiny whoops. It's how Cinewhoops fly, right? But oh hey, the beginning of the stream there, that footage was what I was up to last night. That is my buddy Roger's yearly birthday party called the Super Soaker Party. This year it was Super Soaker 2.0. And yeah, he runs Alpha Male Visuals. He's a director and runs a little production company here in Atlanta. He's brought me on to do a bunch of work with him. And so, yeah, last year and this year, he's like, dude, you want to come to my party? And, you know, you don't have to pay for the ticket if you just come and fly and hang out and have fun. And I said, hell yeah. So that's what I did last night. It was a good time. It's, I don't really like hang, like I do a little bit of networking, by just flying, and then people notice the people that are interested in drones notice the drone, and then they follow it when I land it, and then they come talk to me. I don't necessarily like hang out and like have a good time. I have a good time because I'm flying and talking to people, but yeah, I don't like go and hang out. It's not my crowd. It's not my crowd, not my kind of music. But it's cool. It's a cool opportunity, and it's good to kind of go there and network because most of Roger's friends are in the film world. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I had a good time. CMYK says, yo, what's up? B-Man says, what's up, fam? Denzel the Terrible says, you're the cheapest date in town. I am indeed. B-Man says, Discord is bomb, yo. Yeah, Discord is where all these beautiful people in the chat here. Wait, no, for you guys, it's over here. My Discord is where all these beautiful people hang out. And what if you're new around here, what you want to understand is that, like, I don't do a lot of the beginner stuff. I like, someone once referred to me as like FPV 102. I take what's already good and then I try to make it better or great or whatever. And so the folks in chat that have like that connect with that and are interested in that are kind of like a step above most people in the FPV world. Like, they're actually paying attention to the test results. They watch the entire Chris Rosser video. They don't just fast forward to the end to see the overall comparison chart, right? And they actually like understand this stuff. And so yeah, it's a pretty unique Discord, and it's not such a big Discord that it just gets bombarded and like everything is gone within a couple hours. So it's yeah, it's really cool. You'll dig it. Jump on over to our Discord, and a lot of stuff goes down in general nonsense, but then I have a bunch of Patreon only boards like for specific things: toothpicks and whoops, micro brushless, Cinewhoop, 5-inch, schlong range, DJI Master Race. I'm gonna change DJI Master Race to HD Master Race. That makes more sense. What just happened? Will you not let me type at the beginning of it? No, well, okay. HD Master Race. There we go. That makes that's a little bit more open-ended. The Video Collective, CiottiFPV Reacts, all FPV retailers, Stick and Dick Ends, Swap and Shop, all kinds of good stuff going on over there. Ravi Yogi FPV, I haven't seen you in a while, man. How you been? $5 super chat. He says, Clam Man. Unfortunately, Clam Man has been like is now owned by someone who is putting in copyright shit against people that use it. So none of us can use Clam Man anymore. When I say none of us, I mean Jimmy Broadbent and myself, because we're the only two that have ever used Clam Man that I know of. I'm sure there's more, but yeah, kind of sucks. I miss Clam Man. I really do. But I took him off of the Stream Deck, and yeah, he's a figment of our imagination. Maybe we'll just play that. I should be able to play just that and get away with it. No one FPV says, hope your day has been stellar. It's been good, man. It's been real good. All right, cool. So this is a Q&A live stream. Fill up the chat with any and all questions that you've got. even if it's not a question, just like a discussion point. Somebody, it might have been Rob Axelson, messaged me and said, hey, are you going to talk about remote ID? Which, like, everybody else is talking about right now. I'm probably not. Like, Bot has covered it a bunch. Joshua has covered it a bunch. And like, what else do you, what more do you need? Like, Joshua covered it and, you know, covered the facts and yeah. So watch that to actually figure out what's going on. And then Bot told you how to get around it, which is basically that God forbid you ever are flying and you do get approached by a cop, sorry. That's mean. Or someone from the FAA. Just fly the quad away. Just hammer it, go full throttle, send it out to Never Never Land, and the price of that, or like land it somewhere that only you can find it, right? And then just tell them that you lost it, and then there's no way of proving that there was or wasn't remote ID on there, because you can just, you know, oh, it wasn't working, like it's on there but it wasn't working. Kind of brilliant, right? But yeah, the cost, even if you just send the damn thing into oblivion, the cost of that quad pales in comparison to the potential fine, I'm sure. I don't know what the potential fine is, but this picture Patrick just sent me. This is his this is what he does. So that's his trading setup. You guys aren't going to be able to see it, but you can kind of see it. 3 monitors with all wavy graphs. What mayhem. 3 screens and a laptop. So yeah, hey! I got my fucking Facebook back, yo. I am no longer not on Facebook. I came across a Reddit post where the guy was like, look, none of the account recovery things are real. You just have to do it yourself. I got myself and a friend of mine's accounts back by doing this method. And the big thing that he says is that, so like when your account gets hacked, and you go to log into Facebook, it says, hey, your password is wrong. It looks like you changed your password so many, like X number of days ago. And then you have the option to like recover via email, but the hackers changed your email address to their email address, so that won't work. But then there's another option to like put your phone number in, I think it is. And then so you do that. There's a process that it walks you through. Metal, thanks for the super chat. There's a process that it walks you through, and the last step of that process is to take a picture of your ID. They give you a bunch of different things: passport, driver's license, whatever. To take a picture of your ID and submit it with your first and last name. And so you do that, and then you don't hear anything back because it's all like AI. Apparently, it's all automated. And I think basically, like, if it can't automatically read everything on your ID, it just doesn't email you anything, even though it should email it and say like, hey, we can't read it, try it again. I had done that process twice. This guy in the Reddit article said do it every day, all day. He's like, do it 5 to 7 times minimum a day, and eventually they will get back to you. And then he had a whole other process detailed out, but he said that's the biggest thing. So I found that article a few days ago, and I started doing that process like a bunch of times a day, every day. And I did it today, probably for like the 20th time, and they sent me the email, and it had the code that I needed in it, and I went in and it walked me through some things and reset password and all this shit, and we're good to go. And then I went into their security center and I fucking turned on everything. Like All the security shit is on now. They are going to email me all day. They're going to email me and send me text messages and goddamn smoke signals. So yeah, I'm back on there. There was one, I had one new friend that I hadn't friended. That was weird. I unfriended them. And just shitloads of messages that I haven't actually gotten all the way through yet. But yeah, today's a good day. You know, as much as we like to bash on Facebook, and in a lot of ways they deserve being bashed on because they do a lot of stuff stupid. It's an incredible platform. It's an incredible thing that, you know, we've had access to for, Christ, damn near 20 years, right? Where we can very quickly and easily post images and articles slamming politicians and but like, you know, I think Facebook has kind of lost its way a little bit. Like, although maybe not. I don't know. I think too many people repost too many articles, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody. It's a spot that's got a lot of memories back when we used to use it, not just for trashing things. It's got a lot of memories. It's got a lot of conversations, right? Like Facebook Messenger is incredible. And yeah, almost exactly. Wow, it's been exactly 1 month. It was March 8th. It was March 19th that I was on the way to Rampage when it went away. Yeah, the not having it really has made me realize how great it kind of is. And yeah, are there shortcomings? Of course. You kind of can't have a thing with billions of people on it without it being absolutely perfect for each individual person, right? Like, let's just be a little realistic here. But yeah, I will not take it for granted, because it's, yeah, I mean, for better or worse, it has all of these memories of ours on it, right? It has all of these friends that we've made and all of these images that we've taken and whatnot. So yeah, it's I'm very happy that I was able to get that back. I've been like pretty frustrated over the last month, like not having it, mainly just because like I would have a thought that I would want to like tell someone and I wouldn't be able to, and you know, like I don't have everybody's phone number to text them. A lot of people don't like to text. Not everybody is on Instagram. I don't have everybody on Instagram, right? So like, yeah, do yourself a favor. If you have Facebook, go into the security center and make sure that you have stuff turned on. Make sure that you have two-factor authentication turned on. Make sure that your email address is updated. Make sure that your phone number is in there and updated. Because yeah, if you lose it, you might be, yeah, like it's hard to realize what you actually lose. You lose your ability to go on Facebook Marketplace. How about that? There was a day a couple of weeks ago where I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to buy that real quick on Facebook Marketplace. And like, sure, you can start up a new account, but like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, like Facebook groups, right? Imagine not being able to, like, and then imagine trying to remember all of your Facebook groups. Good fucking luck with that. Not to mention, and this is probably just because I'm somewhat of a known entity in the FPV world, when you create that new account and then you try to join those Facebook groups, if they recognize you, they're going to think that you're a spammer and they're going to either reject you, or in my case, a couple of people messaged me and said like, hey, I think you've been hacked, unless maybe this is you. So it's just a fucking nightmare, man. It really is just a nightmare. So take it seriously. Facebook's setup for preventing hacking kind of sucks. Instagram is way better. Facebook is, for some reason, super vulnerable. I guess because they're the biggest, right? So if you're going to go after somebody, you might as well do that. So yeah, if you're on there and you have everything is still active. They didn't do anything. Apparently what they do is they hack your account and they just sit on it, and then they try to sell access to your account on the dark web. So yeah, they don't even really do anything anymore. Sometimes they'll message people and say, "Hey, donate money," but more often than not, they do apparently what they did to mine, which is nothing. They just sit on it and try to sell it to make money. So yeah, turn your shit on because it's just super annoying, and it'll make you very upset. God damn it, YouTube. Speaking of making me upset, fix the chat thing, YouTube. God damn it. No one FPV says, hey mate, hope your day's been stellar. It has. Raviogi says, nice. B-Man says, can you put the clam on silent and do the words yourself? No, because the content aware thing here on YouTube looks for audio and video. So I would need to like shrink Clam Man down or something, and then like I would have to be like moving up on top of it, but sometimes that even still will pick it out and donkey you. Low Rollin' Groove says, hi CiottiFPV and Gang of the Gang, I'm building my first Ultimate 65 freestyle Tiny Whoop. Would you get the Tiny Whoop Moon Travelers or Weebleed Screamers with the knurled shaft? It's crazy that they are both in stock. It is completely insane that they're both in stock. I would get whichever ones you like the color of, and I'm not even kidding. I think that they both have the knurled shaft. I'm not totally sure about that, but yeah, if you like red, get the Weebleeds. If you like light blue, get the Moon Travelers. I've pounded the shit out of the Moon Travelers, and I've had no shaft slippage, which is what the knurled shaft fixes. They're both made by the same place, HappyModel. They're both going to perform pretty much identical. So yeah, literally whichever one you like the color of best, get it. If you get the Weebleeds, do me a favor and use my affiliate link if you don't mind, if you can remember. No one FPV says you had it right to begin with. RT McKinney says outstanding news. No one FPV says set GPS rescue to specific coordinates known to you, but well outside where you are. Hit failsafe, let it fly away into never land, and go pick it up later. Well, yeah, right. If you don't have remote ID on it, they won't be able to find it. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that if you had. Well, if you have remote ID on it, you might as well come bring it home and land it. But yeah, Kevin Sumner says, quick, everybody spam CiottiFPV on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, realistically, like I think you can just fly it anywhere and land it. Like the cop is not gonna be able to find it. You know, right? Like you can just kind of land it anywhere away from yourself, and then just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. You scared me, and I lost control, and it went. I don't know where it is." And then it's like, "Oh, okay." Like, you know, like they can't just be like, "Oh, I know you didn't have a remote ID on it." It's like, well, no, I did. It just I don't know why it wasn't working. I hit the button. Right, there's just no way for them to prove. I don't know, whatever. I've not. I don't want to dive too deep into the remote ID stuff because I just haven't really read up on it. And I know there's been a lot of stuff going on over the last couple of weeks, and I'm just not really super in the know. But I heard Joshua explain what BotGrinder was talking about, and it was like, oh, okay, we're good to go then. Like. I don't know how you can counter. I don't know what the counter would be, right? Like, it's a thing that either works or it doesn't, and if it doesn't work, it's not instantly my fault, and there's no way to prove that it didn't work at the beginning of this flight. Talk to the manufacturer of the fucking product. Like, I installed it the way I'm supposed to. I followed the fucking rules. You know, when you're in the goggles, you don't have a way of knowing that it's working or not. So essentially, like when you take off and you do the thing on your phone, it's like, cool, it's working. As far as you know, the second that your goggles go down, it's not working anymore. What are you going to do? Like, what's more reckless to do? Check your phone every 4 seconds to make sure it's still working and blend up a baby? Or fly the damn thing safely and don't kill anyone? CMYKFPV says, hell yeah. How deep is that inbox, LMAO? There were a bunch of messages in there. Nothing that, luckily, there was one message. There was one person who had messaged me, and then they messaged me again, and then they deleted the messages. And I was like, oh man, that's somebody that got pissed that I didn't respond. Nobody else was pissed that I didn't respond. One of the earliest message was from Stacy at Rotor Riot. The very last message that I was able to send before getting hacksored was, "Hey Stacy, the power's not on in Micro Mayhem, and we don't have any tables. Can we get some?" And then she replied back like half an hour later or whatever. I forget what she even said. And now I replied back, and she's like, "Wow, that's a super delayed response." I was like, "Yeah, my account got hacked," is like right after I sent that to you. She's like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, nobody was pissed in there. I didn't get through all of them yet, but nobody was like, "What the fuck, man?" So yeah, thanks to all for understanding. Chase Durkee says, "What's up, Ciotti? I've bought the Neutron AIO, and I must say I'm having a blast with it on a 75mm, but I'm flying analog. I definitely see how it's hard to mount the AIO, but so far it works great. Glad that someone is sharing in my pain. I'm really glad that it's working great. I have high hopes for the Neutron AIO, but I really wish that they hadn't done the mounting holes the way that they had, and I don't know, until I have one of the Betafpv ELRS ones blow up, there's just no real reason to change, so I'm just gonna get the Betafpv ones from now on. Matador-skin with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, homie. He says, "Bought those FPV Cycle 22mm motors and realized I forgot to use your affiliate link, so here you go." Thanks so much, dude. Much appreciated. B-Man says, "Being off Facebook is the best thing that could happen to you. Freaking social media trash." Yeah, like, I'm not going to disagree with that. What I am going to say, though, is that you can make your own social media into whatever you want. It can be a friendly place with all cool people and no political shit. It can be a horrible place with all awfulness. It's completely up to you. It takes a little bit of work and it takes a little bit of time to cut the bad people out of your life or just mute them or whatever. But yeah, Facebook can be an amazing, wonderful place. You've got Facebook groups like FPV Therapy. There are so many amazing Facebook groups. Facebook Marketplace is amazing. Facebook Messenger is amazing. It can be an incredible site. You just have to spend a little bit of time filtering out the garbage. I made that realization a few years ago, and I love it on there, and it's great. If you don't put that work in, then yeah, sure, it's going to turn into a shit show, just like anything. Not just like anything, but just like some things. It's the curse of having a thing that's used by literally everyone. So yeah, you got to do a little bit of work. No one FPV says squeaky wheel gets the grease. I wish that's what it was. I wish there was a real person listening to the I got hacked, please help me, but there's not. For sure there's not. I've done a whole bunch of research on this over the last month, and there is absolutely no single human being looking at any of those. Apparently, if you know someone that knows someone that works at Facebook, you can get it looked at and fixed. But without that, you're on your own. But if you submit your license over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, apparently it'll work and you'll be fine. So yeah, if you ever get hacked, but don't get hacked. Go into the security center. It's up here for you guys. Go into the security center in Facebook and turn everything on that you can turn on. B-Man FPV with a $9.99 super chat. He says, "Yeah, I bought some motors as well. Forgot to use the link." Looks like P. Richard Scott bought motors and didn't use the link either. I'm telling you guys, change your bookmarks to my affiliate links, or if you don't use bookmarks, go up here to your browser and type in AMA for Amazon, and whatever it'll probably just be Amazon.com. Off on the right here, you can click this little X that says remove suggestion. And remove this one, and then type AMA in again, and remove that one, and then type it in again, and remove that one, and then just head on over to CiottiFPV.com and click my Amazon link a couple of times in a row, and this Amazon link will become your suggestion when you type AMA in. And you do that with a bunch of these different things, and then your gangly buddy lives long and prospers. P. Richard Scott with a $5 super chat. He says, use the damn link. Thanks, guys. You know you've got a good chat when they mutilate themselves in their bank accounts for making a mistake. You guys are awesome. Raviovi says, is the mental health group still active? It is indeed. Yeah, nothing bad happened to my account. Everything is still up. Everything is still good to go. All's right with the world. And yeah, I mean, all things considered, like, it was really nice to see what I had lost over the last month. Like, as annoying and as frustrated as I've been with the whole situation, sometimes in life things happen that remind you of things, right? People leave. Yeah, all kinds of stuff can happen that kind of open your eyes to some shit that you weren't expecting, and that you were maybe taking for granted. And you can either like, woe is me, or you can fucking suck it up and deal with it and learn something from it, right? Like, learn shit all day, every day. Figure out a way to learn something from everything. And you'll be a better human being here on Earth with an F. RT McKinney said that's what she said. No one FPV says, here's the thing. We FPV pilots are generally the manufacturer of our own quads. I declare as the manufacturer that RID is incompatible. Simple as that. Yeah, there's a lot of there are a lot of problems with remote ID. A lot of problems. It has not been well thought out. It is unsafe as hell. Like, we're in the goggles, yo. We can get straight up shanked at any moment. And like, when you fly sketchy spots, every once in a while, like, I'll just be like, okay, like, let me fly this real quick, as quietly as I can, get the fuck out of here. Now you've got something that's blasting out your location that anybody can kind of, not anybody, but yeah, I don't know. It's bad, dude. Remote ID is really nasty. So like, the choice to not obey it, I don't blame anybody for a second. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do on the internet forever. But yeah, actually I'm going to say what I'm going to do. I'm going to comply with remote ID because I have to. But yeah, it's just silly. Frank Nicholas says remote ID requires transmission from both the aircraft and transmitter / pilot location, personal experience. Hiding / landing quad doesn't hide the transmitter / pilot location isn't working. Right, yeah, which is why you have to have the app on your phone and you have to like use the app. I mean, realistically, like, I guess to get away with it, you'd have to buy a remote ID. I'm assuming that you'd have to buy a remote ID module, and you'd have to like do the thing on the application on your phone to say like, I'm about to go up in the air, and then you would just have to leave that remote ID thingy in your bag. But then it's not up in the air with the quad. Yeah, shit, I guess it's harder to... Yeah, I don't know. Kevin Sumner says, I've heard that the published spec doesn't list output power. Does anybody else know for certain? If not, 1 milliwatt sounds like a great output power. Yeah, it's true. That's interesting. I have no idea. Frank Nicholas says, to comply, DJI must do this because they sell a complete flyable quad kit. Yeah, and that's one of the big problems that everybody's been screaming about for like many months now, is that like, you're going to force every single person that produces a drone to put this shit on board. And like, what do we do about the millions of them that are already out there, right? Like, it's just insane. This is just ridiculous. RT McKinney says, now you won't be as cranky, hopefully. Frank Nicholas says, having said all the above, I hate RT. I I hate the RID limit on my Avata since implemented. That's right. The Avata has it. That's right. Ravi Yogi says, I have an FrSky Taranis X9D SE, getting back into FPV, looking to reuse this transmitter. I know you use a Q7. Is the X9D still usable? Or has FrSky messed the firmware up for ELRS? Nope, it's good to go. You're just going to have to get a module, which, you know, most people are running modules anyway. So, yeah, no, it's totally fine. Plenty of people still use that transmitter. The FrSky transmitters are ubiquitous. Lights Camera Coffee says, looking at doing an 85mm I assume 2S Walksnail build. What flight controller and motors would you recommend? Any SPI ELRS options available? So I would actually not recommend going 85mm. The 75mm builds make plenty of power. The 85mm builds, the ducts are going to be much bigger, so they're going to be farther out in front, so you're going to have more duct in view, which is just kind of annoying. The frame and the build are going to be significantly less durable because they're bigger. And like, so, I mean, I guess if you're going to go 85 for the right reason. And there's only really one reason, in my opinion, and that is runtime. If you're building a long range rig, which would be kind of dumb because it's a tiny whoop and like it's not going to go more than 20 miles an hour, so it's not going to go long range. Yeah, but if the goal is to try to figure out or try to, you know, get internet famous for having a long range tiny whoop, which nobody has really done because it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, that would be the reason to do 85. If you're not looking to build a long-range tiny whoop, do a 75, like what I've done here. Your parts selection is going to be much better. You're going to have access to much more knowledge about what the right-sized motors and right KV motors are, and what the good propellers are. And you're going to have less duct in view. There's going to be an awful lot of benefits. And with a proper set of motors and props, 75mm rig will make all the power that you will ever need. Going beyond the amount of power that this thing makes, you need to go to a carbon fiber framed full tilt freestyle rig. Like, this makes more power than what a tiny whoop can really handle, and what like the plastic frame can handle in collisions and shit like that. And then making the frame bigger makes it a lot like more gangly, basically, and it makes it crash worse because you've got a longer lever to break the plastic. So yeah. Let's Camera Coffee says, was thinking 85mm to hold a RunCam thumb occasionally, but that might be stupid. Thanks. Not stupid at all. It's actually a good idea. The 75s will do it. You're going to have to be on 2S with the 75s. Here's what I'm going to say. Interesting. You're already talking about putting Walksnail on it. I don't think you're going to really want to run a RunCam thumb on it. Putting an external camera on any of these little tiny whoops really makes them fly like shit. Like, it really, really, really does. And it makes them hard to fly. I don't know what a good power plant is going to be, or KV is going to be for 85. 85 is a thing that nobody really does. So you're going to be in like this land of make-believe where, you know, the only place to turn for advice is Facebook groups, and then you're going to get the worst advice on the entire internet. So that's a tough one. Yeah, it's a tough one. I actually don't know what to recommend. My guess, all I can do is make some guesses here. So my guess as to what flight controller and motors would you recommend, Flight controller AIO, it's just the same as always. I'm going to recommend either the HappyModel X12 or ideally the regular 5 amp HappyModel 1S AIO, just the regular old AIO that comes with the Mobula7 ELRS. X12 seems to be good, maybe. I've had one let go. A bunch of folks in chat have had them let go. But lately, the X12s have been hanging in there. I have one that I've put a bunch of batteries through, not a ton, and it's been fine. My first one did not last for more than like 10 or so batteries. We kind of expect that from these really inexpensive Chinese manufacturers at this point. So, yeah. And then in terms of motor, my guess is that you're going to want an 1102 or an 1103. KV, my guess is going to be that you're going to want like 22,000. I don't think anybody makes them. I don't think anybody makes... This is the other big problem that you're going to run into with 85, is that nobody makes the right motor with motor stator size and KV combo. But what you would want is an 1102, 22,000, I think, at least 20,000, or an 1103 with that same KV. I don't think you're going to find that. I've never seen either one of those motors in that high of a KV, at which point you're going to have a rig that flies like ass, to be really honest. Like the highest KV 1102s that I know of are 18,000. There's a bunch of 1002s that are higher KV all the way up to 23,500, but I don't think a 1002 is going to make enough. Well, you know what? I would actually do that. If you're going to do it, I would go with these Flywoo 1002s from Betafpv. If you're going to do an order from Betafpv, do me a favor and use my affiliate link. These are Flywoo 1002 23,500 kV motors. These might be a little bit too small of a stator, but at least they have the KV. So you will at least get a short burst of really good power before the motors potentially overheat. If you put an 1102 or an 1103 on that's lower KV, 18,000, 16,000, you're never going to have power because it's never going to spin the prop fast enough to make good thrust. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I would try these motors here. That's about all I can really recommend because it's a setup that is not very popular. It's being popularized right now because of the 03 air unit and how fat that thing is. So we will start to see more motor sizings and KVs to support that. But at the moment, I don't really know of any motors that are a big enough stator size, but also high enough KV for an 85mm tiny whoop. NaniFPV says, I've had some X12s that I just got back from HappyModel, and one had a short on the USB port that bricked it. Yeah. Aerospace 53 says, I built a 75mm 2S whoop that flew great for 20 to 30 packs. Then it started to wobble on punch-outs. Now it makes a trilling sound and tries to fly away. What's going on with this thing? It depends. What did you do to it right before that behavior started? That's always the source of the problem. If you flew it as per normal and nothing weird happened, and you put it down on your shelf and you picked it up the next day and it was doing it, then some hardware has failed, right? Like, if you didn't do something to it to cause that behavior, then it has broken, and so you need to start replacing components in it until you find the component that has failed. Alternatively, if you slammed it into a tree at full steam, or a metal pole at full steam, and then it started to do this behavior, well, there's your answer. You slammed it into a tree and you broke something. Typically, when you start slamming a rig, the motor shafts will bend a little bit and then the motor will wobble. You can literally see it. And you need to replace that motor. Or a propeller blade can get bent out of shape, and you need to replace that propeller blade. So what I always recommend to folks that hire me for one-on-one time over on Fiverr for troubleshoots like these is that you go from the outside in. Blame the propellers first, so put a fresh set of propellers on, then blame the motors. Spin the motors up in the motors tab like I always show you, and feel for one motor to vibrate more than another. Do that with the props off. You can also do it with the props on a tiny whoop. They don't make enough power to really hurt you. Just be careful. And then, yeah, once you've checked the propellers and once you've checked the motors, double check the motors because that's usually where the problem is. Look at your frame. Make sure the frame is not broken. And then you're going to blame your AIO. And you're just basically going to replace the AIO. Do not, under any circumstances, go into Betaflight and start screwing around with things. Like, the ones and zeros in Betaflight are safe. They're not going to fall out. They're not going to leak out. They're good to go. The ones and zeros are in there. They're in there to stay. So, yeah. When rigs start flying bad, for the love of God, everyone stop going into Betaflight or asking, what do I have to change in Betaflight to fix this? If you are in Betaflight and you changed a bunch of shit, sure, maybe Betaflight is the problem. But if that was the case, then that should be in the question, right? The question should be, hey, I was fucking around with Betaflight and now it's jacked up. What do I do? That's a different question, right? So, yeah, that's my answer for you, brother. Lights Camera Coffee says, fair enough, probably makes more sense to actually build both a 75 for outside iGal and then a small Cinewhoop for the camera. Much appreciated. The RunCam thumb is so light, though, that, like, a 75 mil rig will carry it. It's just such a light camera. As long as your mounting solution for it is also lightweight. Yeah, and as long as you can get a 5-volt power source up to the damn thing. I know that's one of the problems. But, yeah, I mean, I will say this, though. I will definitely say this. All of the basically every single action camera not made by GoPro is really susceptible to jello. So if you're going to be doing iGal and crashing like hell all the time, constantly, you do not want that to be the rig that you're going to try to get more cinematic HD footage out of. What the FPV system, the HD FPV systems, other than the O3 air unit, are also really good at preventing jello. I think it's because they run at such a high frame rate. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, any of these like 4K cameras, the Insta360 Go, the Go 2, the RunCam Thumb, they're really susceptible to jello. And a rig that you're going to be crashing a lot is going to just vibrate more, like period. Like to try to keep a rig that you fly hard freestyle with and crash a lot clean enough for an HD camera is a fucking nightmare. Like, you're going to replace motors and props and everything all the time, and it's going to get really old really fast. So, yeah, that's going to be part of my recommendation there. Philo just says, I'm running a Thumb Pro on my tiny lifter. Nice. Probably flies a hell of a lot better than mine do with the fat old 26-gram Go 2. All right, caught up on chat. Let's see if we can get this thing figured out, friends. So the problem is that the heatsink on the VTX is pushing up against the AIO, and you cannot have that. Your AIO, the reason that we put rubber... Hey, Rob Axelson, check your Patreon messages. I need to know what lanyard and head strap you want. And don't just say, I don't care. At least tell me what your favorite color is. I don't want to just randomly go in the bag and send you one, because there's just no way that you'll like it. At least tell me what like your favorite color is. so that I can get you one that's, yeah. Yeah! You know? Know what I'm saying? Okay. Here we go. Let's figure this shit out. So as it stands right now, the heat sink is up on this corner, and basically, when I push down on the VTX, I can see the AIO get pushed down along with it. And you can just, I can just kind of feel it. Like, I can just feel that these two boards are pushed up against each other. And we can't have that. The gyro lives on the AIO. And so the AIO needs to be able to move independently of the rest of the frame. These quads have always been and will always be vibration monsters, and that wreaks havoc on the PID loop and gives you jello in your video and all kinds of awful stuff. So, Right9 says, actually finishing, place your bets now. Thanks for the vote of confidence, you jerk. I should have everything that I need to get this back up and running, thanks to my awesome dad. I'll show you guys in a minute what he watched the stream the other day and then just went straight on Amazon and got me a couple of kits. A couple of the kits that we were actually looking at with M1.2 and M1.4 screws. Two of the kits that he got definitely don't have screws that are long enough, so I'm going to be bugging him to do a little Amazon return jib jab, and I'll drop those other ones off. But one of the kits, it does appear, it doesn't have M1.2 screws that are long enough, which is what these are, I believe, but it's got M1.4 screws that are long enough. So, and the threading that we drive these screws into in this plastic frame is just like a hole. And it's not even a threaded hole. So like we thread it ourselves with these 1.2 screws. So I'm assuming that those M1.4 screws will also just thread in there and just open the hole up a little bit. That's what she said! Okay, so here we go. I initially kind of noticed this before I was putting it together, but I was just sort of hoping for the best if I'm really honest. You can really kind of tell by just pushing down on this, and you can kind of see it push into the flight controller. It's kind of hard to see though. I would love to kind of confirm it by lifting this up, but it's kind of hard to do that. I'll tell you what, now that I'm holding it like this and pushing on it, it actually looks like I might be okay. Man, this is... When the canopy was on it with the screws, it looked really nasty. Like, it really looked like... And it is... Oh, is it these wires? Are these wires the problem? I'm going to kind of be pissed if these two wires are the problem. This canopy sits like this. So let me try this. Let me move these wires up to here, which will clear them on this frame a little bit more. Might be kind of onto something here. So these are the TX and RX wires. They might have been the problem because they were sitting right here. Let me show you guys. Let me try to show you guys with this camera. These gray and white wires were sitting they were sitting right here. And this is really close to the frame, so that might have been what was contacting. I have enough wire length to move them up here, and it looks like they'll still clear. Yeah, it looks like they just barely clear the canopy here. And this part of the frame has a much bigger gap, as you can see, right? So this might actually be the fix. That would be really, really, really nice if that were the issue. So let me do a little bit of wire management here. I got to get these wires kind of stretched a little bit tighter so that they don't get all out of control and up in the props. So I'm just going to do that by pulling them down from the bottom. Just to like, we've got a little bit of extra space on the bottom here above the battery tray next to the flight controller. So we might as well use it for some of this wire slack. You really wouldn't be able to get away with this on anything other than a tiny whoop. On bigger rigs, they make enough thrust to blow these wires around, but on a tiny whoop, they kind of don't. My power wires are still sort of looking okay. I don't love the way that they're run, but they should be fine. They're up here and kind of out of the way. Well, shit, that might have been all. I mean, I still have to do all the setup, and it is ELRS, so it is going to be a complete nightmare. But, yeah, maybe we're somewhat okay here. Having these wires cross is driving me absolutely insane. I'm going to let them cross underneath. It'll be fine. Okay, so these guys are up here. And I want to do kind of the same thing with this power wire. Just pull it down and under. Just so that it's out of the way. Oh man, I hear the sounds of food upstairs. All right, there we go. So, okay, and that's my bind button right there. All right, so that will comfortably sit where it needs to be. That's good. And now we were concerned about this side here. Now all of a sudden this side is a pain in the ass. Yeah, you know what? I need to put the red wire back over because it's longer. The red wire is longer, and I think I'm potentially running into the same problem here where these wires are getting too close to the frame here. Tough build. All these tiny whoop builds that aren't like infinitely simple end up being tough builds. They're just it's a terrible platform to like put stuff in. You know, like it's yeah. There's just nowhere to. It's just difficult. Infinite Minded One says, how long does it take you to finish a build? Anywhere from 1 hour to like 8 or 9. It really depends on what the build is. Is it a build that I'm going to be using for work, that is going to be flown around famous musicians or actors or whatever? Is it a build for just farting around? Is it a tiny whoop? You know, some tiny whoop builds I can very easily knock out during a live stream. It's pretty rare, but yeah, as long as it's a straightforward build, I can knock it out during a live stream. If it's something more complex, it's going to take longer. As well it should. Still don't have a great way of mounting an antenna on this build, but I am going to try something here. If this guy lays flat like that, I wonder if this is going to be long enough. No, it's not long enough to do that with. Okay, so that won't work. Like I really want to run it down like this. I really want to run it, and that's kind of why they put this hole in the top. But the problem is it limits the amount of like I have to add up tilt to the camera to be able to do that, which might be fine because it's a 75mm build and there's a bunch of duct in view. It might be fine to prevent some duct in view is what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. I really like to run low up tilt on these tiny whoops, so I kind of don't want to have to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I really don't want the antenna just fucking dangling around in there. So let's get this put on here. And I am gonna run longer screws no matter what on this thing because I want to put little spacers on top of this VTX so that the canopy will sit flat. Right now, when I mount this thing, the right side of the canopy, like you can kind of see it. Wow, it's doing it really bad right now. What the hell? Oh, fart. It's the camera. It's because I added extra up tilt to the camera. Wow, this is tough. So I'll take some up tilt away. Now it's better. But yeah, the camera mounting pushes up against the VTX in a couple of spots, and it just doesn't sit completely flat. So I'm gonna try to find a couple of little spacers to put on this. When that happens, though, when I space this out, these little screws that I've been using are not going to be long enough. So to the rescue comes this massive screw pack that my dad got me from Amazon. So let's take a look in here and see if there's an M1.4, I should say, by something that will work better here. So the first problem is that all these little individual baggies of screws are sticking to the lid. That's scary. Okay, so there's a little guide that this thing comes with. I'm going to be kind of off the side of the jibby-jabby here. It comes a little guide, and the guide tells me we've got a bunch of M1s, a bunch of M1.2s. So we've got in this set M1.2 by 6, and I think that's what these screws are. Let's take a look. Nope. They are significantly longer. So this would be, sorry. These are the M1.2 by 6s, and this is significantly smaller, significantly shorter. It also looks like it's thinner. So let's put the M1.2 by 6s back. The next row we've got M1.4 by 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. M1.4 by 8. Let's see what that looks like. That looks an awful lot like what we've got here. Yeah. That looks just like it, actually. So let's take one of these out and we'll compare. So this is M1.4 by 8. The next size up is M1.7. All right. Yep, that looks pretty goddamn similar. Same length, same threads. Let me grab the 5X loop here and take a really close look. My right hand is holding the new one. My left hand is holding the HappyModel one. So the new one in the kit it's identical. Probably one company that's making these. And now let me match up the threads. Yeah, the threads. No, I guess they don't. Oh, shit, I just dropped one of them. Gone forever. Nope, I found it. The threads kind of line up, sort of. Close enough. Not really. Oh, no, they do not line up. So the HappyModel one... Wait, shit. Which one's the HappyModel one? Is it my right hand or my left hand? Fuck. Hold on. I think this is the new one. Let me compare one of the other HappyModel ones to the... Yeah, okay, thirds up. Yeah, so these new ones are not the same... I think it's pitch. Pitch is the distance, is a measure of the distance between the threads. But that doesn't really matter because, again, we're just driving these things into plastic, right? Here's the problem. M1.4 by 8 is no longer than these that come with it, and I kind of need them to be longer. So I need like an M1.4 by 10, which this kit doesn't have, and I've never really seen. But what this kit does have is M1.7 by 10, which I think is this little bag. But looking at these, I think these are going to be too big. Let's at least look at the length, though. Yeah, I think what I need is M1.4 by 10. And none of these kits have that. So this is M1.7 by 10. Yeah, that's way too big. That is way too big. It is longer, but that's... I mean, you can see it. You know, that's probably going to crack the frame. So, yeah, that's a shame. Damn. Okay, so all three of these screw kits kind of need to go back because I've basically got... I've got all these sizes. So, yeah, it looks like what we need is M1.4 by 10. It would be great to also find M1.4 by 12. That would be really nice to find both of those. Who's the best at the internet? Who in chat is the best at the internet? And can find that. Dad, thank you. And again, happy Father's Day. Thank you for sending me this stuff. I will bug you probably tomorrow to do a quick Amazon refund and choose the Kohl's location closest to me. I don't think you actually have to choose a location. I think you just, for the return, you just have to hit Kohl's in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and then I can take it from there. And you just got to forward me the email. Brandon McBean says I win at internet. Nice. Okay, so let's try this. Let's just slam it back together. I moved some of these wires around. We're going to try to use these screws. They seem to be maybe just barely long enough. And we'll do the setup and see what happens. Sound like a plan? I can't put spacers above the VTX, though, because these screws are not long enough. Like, this screw is not screwed in yet. This front screw is not screwed in at all yet, and like, look where it is. Like, it's already flush with the camera cage. That ain't good. Like, you want it to be sitting up more so that you can actually get a couple of threads to engage. So these M1.4 by, what did I say these are? 8s? Yeah. These M1.4 by 8s are, they're just not quite long enough. They're really close. And we might be able to get them to work here, but they're going to be super fragile like this, like with only a couple of threads engaged here, they're going to be very, very fragile. And I kind of wanted this to be more of a freestyle rig that I could crash. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Like I thought I had that threaded in there, but it only had like a thread of engagement and it pulled right out. It's kind of the only way that I can test these is to just kind of yank on them. It's terrible. Hate to have to do that, but got to make sure that it's in there. I don't want the canopy to pop off on like a really late hit. I mean, I don't want it to pop off at all, of course, but all right, so then we got this one. Yeah, this is a little sketchy. I wish there was a better way of doing this. One person suggested breaking the things off and then threading the plate below here, and then running screws down into the threaded plate. The problem is, like, this plate down here is really thin. I don't think it's thick enough to thread and then have it have any actual amount of strength. And see, here's the problem on this side. There are components on this board that are, see this gap here? There's components on this board that's preventing this canopy from sitting all the way down. If you look at the other one, where I used the Snuffleupagus canopy, it has that going on a lot less. Like, just this canopy design is sitting much flatter, except for the rear. The rear fits terrible. There you go. There you can really see it. This side, it sits kind of fine. Yeah, the rear sits really bad on this one. But, I don't know. This actually makes these a really good candidate for fractal frames, to be completely honest. And so, like, yeah, this makes me really that much more motivated to get this build over into that Fractal 75 frame. And I did place a... I placed Tiny Whoop and We Bleed FPV orders. I placed the Tiny Whoop order because I want another one, or I tried to order 2 of those white Mobula 6 canopies. It was the whole reason that I was placing the order. And then, unfortunately, I just got an email today from them saying, hey, we're going to refund you for those. We don't actually have them in stock. Sorry. And I'm like, well, fuck. None of the other... I was struggling to find other things on the order. Not really. I got a set of the snowblowers for this rig, I think. So, like, I'm glad I snagged a set of those while they're in stock. But, yeah, I was really specifically doing that order for those clear Mobula 6 canopies. But, you know, first world problems. Okay, so these 2 wires here, I can move them around, which means that they're not being pinched, which is great. And then same thing with these. These are able to be moved around. And now, if I push down... Oh, that feels much better. Yeah, so there was something going on last time. Now I can push down on this VTX, and it actually moves a little bit freely. Whereas before it was like you would push down and nothing would happen. This is what you want. You want a little bit of movement here. That is the easiest way to tell if the top board is pressing into a component on the bottom board. Usually you can just look at the 2 PCBs from the side and see if there's anything touching, but with a Tiny Whoop you've got these ducts in the way, so you can't really do that. So I've got these tightened down a little bit, not much. Hopefully it's enough. This, in theory, might work like this. And, like, I'm twisting this a bunch and it's not exploding. So we might be okay here. Let's get the Neutron board into Betaflight and see how it is. We'll do some Betaflight things, yo. All right. Holy shit. Raviogi says Tower Hobbies has a kit with 1.4 by 10 and 12s. Nice. Good find. Tower Hobbies. I remember them. Greenhorn says, why not split a grommet in half and use that as a little lift? Because the screws aren't long enough. Brandon Woodford says, hey, you got those 3 glide builds you're going to sell finished up, right? Nope. They're over there. Everything else is more important, and everything else just keeps getting pushed in front of them. Infinite Minded One says, 32,500 kV is insane tuning tip. Not really, to be honest. Like, by going to more powerful motors, you're giving the PID loop access to more power, and so you're doing one of the best things that you can possibly do for tuning. So your existing PIDs are going to be like significantly better with the more powerful motors. So yeah, there's no real need, really. Like, for the most part, let's say that 99% of the time, if you change motors, there's no reason to change your tune. If your tune is absolutely cranked to the point where the rig is about to explode, then you change motors, maybe you'll need it. But if your tune is pushed that far, you should know what you're doing, and you shouldn't be asking that question, right? So, yeah, for most people, there's no need. There's no need to change a tune when you change your motors. Denzel the Terrible also asking about the custom glides. Morton Upshot says, don't be hating on the ELRS. It's solid. It is solid. It's just a pain in the ass to do anything with. And I'm not the only one that says that. So I know it's true. Metadirtson says, have you seen the GemFan 3630 props? Is that going to be the new hotness for 3.5 inch class? I haven't seen GemFan do a 3.6. I did see Emax do a 3.6. I got them, and they don't clear any of the motors that I've got. Standard Emax pain in the ass of the bottom of the blades drop down below the mounting pad. So yeah, I don't have any motors that those 3.6s will work on. Frank Nicholas says, please link which Amazon kit has long enough screws, M1.4, thanks. I don't know of any yet. Let's take a quick look, though. M1.4 by... Let's go all the way up to 12. Because if the kit has 12s, it'll also have 10s. Oh, wow, look at that. This is not what we want. Or is it? I don't know. I mean, technically, these are... I don't love the idea of this machine threading. It's the threads aren't far enough apart to really grab onto the plastic of the frame. But I mean, it might be fine. I would love to have Allen, although, you know, it wouldn't be an M1.5 Allen, so it would be kind of a pain in the ass. Although with the rest of these, we have to use Phillips, which is another tool that we have to carry around anyway. Guard U. This might be one. These are conical screws. That's weird. M1.4 by 5 is the biggest that this kit has. What the hell? Why would you suggest this kit to me then? You jackass. You jackass! I have a feeling it's going to be harder to find than we think. Let's try this. I've had good luck doing this in the past. M1.4 by 12. Look, it's that same listing I was just looking at. Size M1.4. There it is. Wow, this goes all the way up to 16. I think we found this the other day on the stream. So yeah, here we go. M1.4 by 10. And then if you get 500. for $11. Jesus, 500. That's enough for the entire FPV community. These aren't self-tappers. The threads are not as far apart as the ones that we were just looking at, but I bet you these would work. I bet you these would work. That's the exact listing I was looking at the other day. Is there another listing? Hey, this is more what we want. This is more what we want. I don't want it to be conical like that, though. Let's see if they even have it. M1.4 by 12. Look at that. Yeah, M1.4 by 12. Oh, you can order 10. Where are they coming from? Shenzhen? Sure enough. Shenzhen. So they're going to take forever to get to you. Estimated between July 6th and July 11th. That's actually not that bad. That's not a full month. Might as well get 20 at that point. I'm going to leave this tab opened. Conical heads might be nice. Hopefully they're bigger than the button head ones, so that they hold on to the outside of the canopy a little bit better. Hey, this even says self-tapping, but they've got those little button heads on them. M1.4 by 10. That's pretty good. That's probably all we need is M1.4 by 10. But I would love to get the 12s. So yeah, there you guys go. You can get them on eBay, it looks like. I'm going to order some of these guys. I'm hoping that the head on this is as big as it looks there. And that'll let it catch the canopy a little bit better. So this is what I'm going to order. If somebody else wants to order one of these other items on eBay, that would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool for us to compare. I'm not going to go through here and order a ton of different ones. But yeah, if somebody else wants to, that'd be cool. I would love that. I'm going to leave this opened. Yeah, look, here's the listing I have open from the other day. There's an old tab from a week ago. CMYK is trying to figure out what each of these motors is made for. What build is best for 1S, 2S, 3S? Power drone pages, search results. Okay, so we've got 3 different 1002s. We've got a 14,000 kV, a 19,000 kV, and a 22,000 kV. The 14,000 kV is for 2S for sure, and I have a set of these on the way to try on a tiny... Wait, no, I have them here to try on the tiny lifter. I just have to put the solder on the newbie drone connectors. So, yeah, 14,000 kV, that's definitely for 2S on 1.6-inch props, which is the props that are run on 75mm tiny whoops. This 19,000 kV doesn't really make any sense. This is really for nothing. And then this 22,000 kV is for 1S. So yeah, this 19,000 kV is worthless. This 14,000 kV is good for 2S, and then this 22,000 is good for 1S. Any other brain busters? FamG says, Grayson Hobbies hooked me up with a new LiPo charger in Atlanta. Good dudes there, they are indeed. Grayson Hobby is where I bought my very first drone, and this QX7 actually. Brandon's Big Bean says, use a newbie drone B-Brain V2 old school, not the Goober. The problem with that B-Brain old school is that it mounts to the front post only and not the rear post. And so as soon as you start hitting stuff like this, it just rips the front post off of the plastic frame. I've been down that road. It sucks. Morton Upshot says, I also got your clear Mobula 6 canopy delivered on Saturday. Sorry, dude. It's all good, man. It's all good. We believe FPV is going to get some in stock, so we'll be all right. Morton Upshot says, I just had a version of this delivered on Saturday. They have the flight controller and camera turned 90 degrees so the battery is toilet tank. That's interesting. I don't like that because the battery does not... The battery might look like it's sitting even, but the LiPo part of the battery is not sitting even. The plastic cap on the battery is empty. So toilet tanking a tiny whoop frame, you're always going to have some weight that's incorrect left to right, and that just kind of sucks. So I always like to do it front to rear. If you're going to have an inconsistency in weight, you want it to be front to rear, not left to right. That's also why I don't toilet tank batteries on, one of the many reasons I don't toilet tank batteries on freestyle rigs is you'll never get that battery perfectly centered. The big reason though is that every time you crash, the battery flies out and unplugs and you lose your quad. So don't do it. Greenhorn says, not enough time to go to your local Howards or Aces. I have never, ever seen any of this small hardware at Aces or Home Depot or Lowe's or even Fastenal. I've never seen, especially not metric stuff. So yeah, if you guys have local shops with really tiny hardware like this, that's amazing. Don't take that for granted, because there are none here in Atlanta. Morton Upshot says, sounds like a giveaway item. I'm not sure what. Do you mean the screw kits? COYK says, dope, thanks, you're welcome. Brandon McBean says, not if you bolt it to the frame. What? It breaks the frame is the problem with the old school newbie drone. It rips the post right out of the frame. That's happened to me twice now. Yeah. All right. So let's plug this thing in, see what's going on. Neutron AIO. First Betaflight experience. Can you imagine? All right, here we go. Low Roll and Groove used the link to Weebleed. Thank you, brother. Affiliate links all day. Neutron RCF 411 SX 1280. So first things first, let's figure out what gyro this has. So we're going to come into the CLI and type status. And then it's going to tell us right here, that it's got the ICM 2689, which is the least desirable of the gyros. But if the build is clean, it should still work. So let's get out of here. We're going to reconnect. So this is on, oh wow, this is on 4.3. So it ships with 4.3. That's pretty cool. Let's calibrate the, well, we might as well update it all the way. Actually, no. We're not gonna update it. We're not gonna update it. There, in 99% of cases, when you get a new something, there's really no reason to update it. Unless the version of the firmware that it comes with is a known issue, which in this case it is not. Now I get to try to figure out what the hell pads I put the Walksnail VTX on. I think it was UART1. So we've already got the configuration MSP selected on UART1. That's pretty awesome. And then we just want to go here to peripherals and turn on the FrSky OSD, I think it is. Camera, RunCam, OSD, FrSky protocol. Wait, maybe not? Shit, I forget what it is. It's not in there. I think it's supposed to say HD camera here, so I think I actually do need to update this beyond 4.3. So let's come in here, and we're going to go auto detect, and that has found the Neutron RCF 411. And we're going to go... Oh, it was on 4.3. Right, I need to get it onto 4.4. Okay, yeah, we're good. So since we're using Walksnail, this is actually a situation where I do need to update the firmware. So we're going to do that. But before we do that, we're going to connect back up to this. We're going to come into the CLI. Well, you know what? So the way that I'm used to doing this is by typing diff all. And then it gives you all of the things that are different about this configuration that might be different on this specific board. there is a slicker way of doing this, which is to go into presets, and there's a little button here that says save backup. And it just basically saves a diff all into a file in your desktop, but it's just kind of nice that there's a button to do that. So we're going to click save backup, and then after we update it, we're going to click load backup. I haven't actually done this before. So let's do this, and we're going to put it in downloads. That's fine. And Betaflight CLI backup. Neutron RC. All right, and I'm going to save that. So there was really no reason to do that because this is an AIO that I just bought. Like, I just bought the AIO. So it is loaded with whatever the Neutron RC target comes with. If I had bought a bind and fly that came with this AIO, that bind and fly could potentially have some specific settings and a custom PID tune on it for that bind and fly to talk to whatever the rest of the bind and fly setup is. But in our case here, by me reflashing this to this Neutron RC F411SX1280, this is just going to give me the exact same firmware, but instead of 4.3.0, it's going to be 4.4.2. So yeah, that was kind of a worthless step, but get into the habit of doing it, because at some point it'll save your ass. And like, God forbid, this 4.4 version has something weird. I can reflash this back to 4.3. I have that file sitting in there, and away we go. Although if I reflashed it back to 4.3, same kind of deal. This is just the default setup for this thing, so it would just come with jibby jabby bing bongy. CBP says, I just ordered some Moon Travelers that will be great on a 75mm. They actually won't. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, CBP, but the Moon Travelers are an 0702 motor, and that is not a big enough stator for a 75mm build. If you can't cancel that order and get a set of 802s, which is the minimum motor size for a 75mm build, you can try them. You can try those Moon Travelers on the bi-blade 1.6-inch propellers, but you're going to have to motor limit them way, 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 way down. Otherwise, they're going to pretty much instantaneously cook your AIO. Even if they don't cook the AIO, they're going to fly terrible because you're going to be in a super, super, super overpropped situation. So, yeah, sorry, brother. I hate to be like I said, the bearer of bad news, but Moon Travelers are going to be terrible on a 75mm rig. They are a 65mm build, 65mm motor only, with the 1.2-inch propellers. That is... even those bi-blade 1.2-inch props are like just barely able to handle that setup. So shoot a quick email over to TinyWhoop, and Jesse will probably jump right on it. Hey, hold on, CBP, what's your name that you placed in that order? I'm going to send Jesse a message for you real quick and tell him to look out for that order. What's your first and last name that you put on there so that I can say, yo, look out for so-and-so's order? Yo, one of my guys in chat just ordered the wrong motors by accident. His name is Kobe Parsons. He's emailing now with what he meant to order. All right, that's the absolute most that I can possibly do for you, brother. That's not true. Here's what else I can do for you. I can go to TinyWhoop and I can show you the right motors to order. So the motors that you want are 802s with 1.5mm shafts, and the ones that are in stock right now are these: the snowblower 802 25,000 kV with the 1.5mm shaft. There you go. That's what you want. Looks like you were already there. You just said in chat, so should I switch to snowblowers? Yep. Spread the word, friends. 702s only work on 65mm rigs. 75mm rigs need at minimum an 802, if not a 1002. I've heard this a couple of times now. Cody, you're not the first person to make that mistake. A couple of folks have left comments on my videos and saying, like, I'm so excited, I'm going to go even lighter than your build with 702s on a 75mm frame. I'm like, no, don't. It will not work right. It will fly like ass. Chase Turkey says, I had to put my Neutron on 4.4 because I was on ELRS V3 and it wouldn't work on Betaflight 4.3. Yep, I'm in a similar situation. Morton Upshot says, curious to see the snail performance that you get. I was excited to get this as a bind and fly, but the snail isn't performing well IMO. If I keep it, I'll untoilet tank it. And then Lauren Walters says, do you think 802 25,000 kV snowblowers will be good for 75mm? They are the best motors for 75mm in my opinion. Morton, what you said the snail isn't performing well. Are you having Walksnail problems? If so, I don't know how to fix them. I don't know anything about Walksnail. I don't know shit about shit. But I sure do look like I know a thing or two. Back into Betaflight we go. It is now updated. The ports tab has, I'm going to turn MSP on UART1. And peripherals, we've got, I think it's this one, VTX MSP plus DisplayPort. I think that's the one. So I'm going to save and reboot. And then we're going to go to presets. And we're going to do some presetting. We're going to search for Walksnail. And OSD for Avatar HD. That's what we want. Map to DisplayPort, set HD OSD. And then I'm going to click the button for Use DisplayPort and MSP VTX on UART1. I think I already did that in the Ports tab manually, but whatever. We can hit it again. Save and reboot. And then we're going to do one more preset here, which is the preset for ELRS. So we'll search for ELRS. I am on 250. We're going to come in here. I prefer the HD Freestyle on these smaller rigs. And then ELRS RX connection method, choose one. You know, I actually don't know. I don't know what this one has. Let's look it up because I think I need to know. Neutron AIO. Newbie Drone! What do you got for me? Flight controller, built-in receiver, SPI. That was quick. All right, so we're going to go SPI. And we're going to hit pick. And then save and reboot. And now we've got our Express LRS settings on there. Right, 9 says, still need to set OSD DisplayPort device equals MSP auto. The default doesn't work. That's super annoying. I am going to check it, though. I would think that that preset would take care of it, but let's take a look. So let's go into the CLI, and I'm going to type, instead of what Riot 9 typed in there, which is set OSD DisplayPort, I'm going to type get OSD DisplayPort and hit enter. And now it's going to tell me what the default value is. And the current, so this is what I typed. I typed get, and now this is telling me what the current value is, which is MSP, which I think is correct, right? Yeah. MSP is what I want here. So that's cool. We just confirmed that preset takes care of this little CLI jibby jabby, which is great. 661 says, if the target says SX1280, it's SPI. Awesome. It's SPI. All right. So it's going to reboot one more time here. Let's Connect, and I'm just gonna start setting shit up. Craft name, set to 4K, that's fine. Accelerometer on, let's turn on the D-shot beacon. Maximum arming angle, let's basically turn this off by setting it to 180. Air mode is permanently on, that's fine. LED strip display, OSD. Why is OSD turned off? Do I not need, no, I need that to be on. I was gonna say, do I not need that to be on for digital stuff? But no, obviously not, because it turns off the OSD thing here. Power and battery, let's actually, oh, this is set for like regular 5-inch stuff. So, okay. So the maximum cell voltage, we're going to bump that up to 4.4. The minimum cell voltage, we're going to set it at 3.1. And then the warning cell voltage, we're going to set at 3.3. I might want to pull those down another 0.1, but let's leave them there for now. Lauren Walter says, I have Betafpv Meteor 65 Pro. I was thinking of replacing the motors with 702 26,000. Do you think the 35mm props are too big for 702s? Absolutely. The only propellers that are going to work on 702 motors are 1.2-inch propellers and bi-blades. You can't even run a 1.2-inch tri-blade. On the Meteor 65 Pro, there are no bi-blade propeller options, which is one of the reasons I stay away from that frame. So yeah, 702s will not work right. I mean, they'll work, but it'll fly like ass. GasFart333 says, do you planning on setting up the 2S version of your 1S Mobula7 HD build to compare and inform us? Basically, a motor/battery strap, so plug-in motor is the way to go. No, I have no plans of 2S. 2S is only... The only reason to do 2S is if you're carrying a big, heavy payload like an HD camera, like the Insta360 Go 2. Even without the Insta360 Go 2 on those tiny lifter builds, they fly like shit because 2S is way too heavy. So yeah, 2S is no good. It has no place in tiny whoops. There are no AIOs that are even remotely reliable on 2S that are currently being manufactured. So yeah, stay away from it. It's bad. It's too much power, and the reliability goes out the window, and it's too much weight. All of those things really kill the way that a tiny whoop flies. So if you want a bad tiny whoop experience, 2S for sure. But yeah, there's 2S is bad for tiny whoops. You want lightweight, and lightweight is 1S. Okay, so I like a lot of jitter reduction because it basically acts as stick smoothing. Motor output limit, we're going to leave it cranked all the way up. No, let's not do that. Let's do this. We'll just give it a little bit more D-gain. We're going to turn the feed forward down because I hate it. Turn the I-gain down just a little bit. And we're going to give it just a little bit more authority on the pitch axis because the battery runs fore and aft. 661 says, read Tokyo Dom comments. Tokyo Dom says, I missed the start. Did you wire Walksnail up to VBAT or 5 volt? Because if it's on VBAT, you cannot use 350 milliwatt output setting. The bitrate drops to 14 megabits per second once you go below 3.7 volts. Often soon after you take off. That's fine. I would never need that much output. If the flight controller's 5 volt rail can handle the current draw, would be much better. Apparently video smearing is reduced too. So I've had my other build on VBAT. So we talked about this at length on the 65 millimeter build, and it is, from people smarter than myself, apparently you do not want to have one BEC feeding into another BEC. And there has to be a BEC on the on the Walksnail VTXs. And so, yeah, I run them off of VBAT, and so far it's been totally fine. I would never need to crank them up to 350 milliwatts, right? Like, these are tiny whoops. You're going to be flying them like really close to yourself. And quite honestly, when you go above like 25 milliwatts with tiny whoops, it actually things get worse because you just increase the number of bounces that are happening, so you just get more multipathing. So yeah, I'm running them off of I'm running them off VBAT, and they've been completely fine so far. But I don't have a ton of batteries through it, probably only like 30 or 40. I will update you guys as I fly it more and more and more. Pretty aggressive throttle limit here, but that's because this is going to be used to fly infinitely low to the ground, chasing little RC drift cars. Let's just do a super quick filter tune here. I'm not really going to go crazy with this, but yeah, and we're going to need to get Blue Jay fired up on here because I can already see that the dynamic notch filter, dynamic notch filter is not on. So yeah, I'm not going to feed them. That's interesting. So yeah, I guess if you're building a long range tiny whoop, you're going to want to run it off the 5 volt, the AIO's 5 volt back so that you can get that higher output setting. But I don't know. I don't really see the point of a long-range tiny whoop, but that doesn't mean it's not. If it makes you happy, god damn it, do it. Come on now. Stop waiting for data. All right, I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in. All right, let's try this again here. Head over to the receiver tab, SPI, Express LRS, binding phrase. I think it's just CiottiFPV. All right, and then we're gonna put a little bit of deadband in here for both RC and yaw. We're gonna move the sticklet low threshold to 1,000, high to 2,000. I'm gonna put these guys on auto. The auto factor is 140. That looks great. We're going to save and reboot, and then I'm going to try to bind this. So, you know, if you don't like cursing, put in your fucking earplugs right now. Because this is where I lose my mind. But maybe it'll be fine. All right, the module is in. Here we go. Stevie says, just curious, can you flash AM32 instead of Blue Jay? You cannot. AM32 needs specific hardware. And if an ESC is set up to work with, but 99% of ESCs are set up to work with BL Heli, and they will not work with AM32. All that being said, AM32 is not like that great. It's only the tiniest little bit better. Gas Fart says, when are we going to see creative FPV shots of those googly eyes on a drone? Yeah, I got to do something with these. I got a whole bag of them. Put them on everything. Googly eyes are the best. Okay, let's see if this damn thing will bind without a complete nightmare. The most recent rig that I had bound up just fine. So maybe this one will be the same. Oh, I'm on 150 hertz. I didn't realize that. Let me kick it up to 250. There we go. Bind. Press to send bind request. Binding. Bind receiver. All right. I don't think anything has happened here. Okay. But let's cycle power and see if magically it's fine. Maybe. You never know. Let's take a look. Receiver. No, of course not. Why would anything ever just work? Is there a bind button on the Neutron? Ooh, there's a boot button. Oh, what about the whole plug it in 3 times fast thing? Let's try that. Let's try that. All right, so we got once, twice, 3 times. No, come on, get in there. Is there anything double blinking? No. So help me God, if the bind button is on the top of this thing, which is covered up by the Walksnail VTX, I'm gonna lose my mind. Although, I don't know, maybe it doesn't have that double flash thing, so let's just, for the sake of argument, go into bind mode and press the send binding request. Actually, I can just do this. There we go. Is there a bind button up here? I do not see a bind button up on the top, so that makes me happy. Oh, it'll tell me here. Motor 2, motor 1, RGB, VBAT, motor 3, motor 4. Boot button, motor socket, micro USB motor socket. How do I bind you? No information whatsoever on the website how to bind it. That's super annoying. Well, let's try the boot button. Yeah, I know what the versions are. Oh, fuck. This module is on ELRS 2.5, isn't it? Wait a second. How the hell did I do it on this other one then? This is on 4.4. I need it to be in 4.4 so that I can have the OSD stuff. And this one has the OSD stuff, but it's ELRS. But it's on 4.4. But my module is only on... You have a fast flashing green on the Neutron RC. Let me try pushing the boot button again. That's weird. Having trouble hitting the boot button. How the hell? How do we get the Betafpv shit to work? It's like a weirdly flashing green, actually. It's almost certainly in Wi-Fi mode by now. It's not the normal, like, super fast Wi-Fi flashing green, though. It is SPI. Oh, is the Betafpv not SPI? Is the Betafpv UART based? Oh, farts. I do have another module that's on 3.0. I might just need to... Oh my god, that's going to be a fucking nightmare having to switch the module out for this. Alright, that's me holding the boot button down while I plugged it in. But that probably just put it into DFU mode. Yep, that puts it into DFU mode. So, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to use the other module that's on ELRS 3. Jesus Christ. Bind request has been sent. Well, it did just say binding. That was interesting. Hold on. I ran the Ethernet cable a while ago. Right, 9. 661 says SPI receivers don't have Wi-Fi. Really? I didn't know that. I did not know that. No, still not hooking up. Let's take the binding phrase out of it. See if that maybe changes anything. I think that'll make it worse, but yeah, I think I'm gonna need to use that other module. God, is that annoying. All right, let's just see real quick. Binding. Nah, nothing. Ah, hell. Nah. Nothing. Alright, let's try that other module. It's the Naminmo module. Let's see if it'll work. It should. Oh man. So yeah, whoever was saying earlier that ELRS is great and to stop trashing on it, this is exactly why I trash on it. Why does this module make my transmitter make noises? The fuck? What is that about? That's new. I don't like that. It's because it's on 500 million watts. Let's turn it down. Turn it down to 50. There we go. Okay. Let's come in here. And we will go to bind mode. Press to send bind. Oh, God! Just right away. Just immediately. So there we have it. That was the problem. Wow, I've never seen it go that quick. So we are in AETR, which is why shit's freaking out. So we'll go to TAER. Oh God, this is super annoying. This is super annoying, super annoying. I now have to carry 3 different modules. That is the dumbest shit ever. Weird thing going on with the throttle. Why does the throttle keep... What is happening here? Something's jacked up. Something's jacked off here. It's like... What the hell? Alright, let's unplug it and plug it back in. Did you try turning it off and back on again? I have now. What? Now it's not bound anymore. What? What just happened? What? What was that about? Bind receiver. Bind mode, press to send, binding request. Binding. Okay. That was weird, yo. That was really weird. Pitch, so everything is above 2,000, great. Everything is below 1,000, great. Aux 1, Aux 2, Aux 3, awesome. Save it. I don't know if... Oh, here it goes again, though. 661 thinks it's fail-safing. Why is it fail-safing? Could it be because I don't have my binding phrase in there? Frank Nicholas hasn't been listening to all the reasons that I run Crossfire and different things. It's now not bound again. What is happening with this? Let's try this one more time. Bind mode. Binding. All right, we're bound again. What's the telemetry ratio? 1/128? Sure. Why not? I think that means it sends it one time every 128 packets. Okay, I mean, we're back, but when I hit save, is it gonna fuck up again? It is. What is happening with this? Oh, Frank has been listening to them, but he put reasons in quotations, which means that he doesn't agree with my reasons. That's okay. We're all allowed to be individuals. Nothing wrong with that. I say as often as I can that everything out of my mouth is my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. It'll sure save you a lot of headaches if you do agree with it, because I put a lot of thought into it. But it is your choice. There are no... there are right answers. Brandon's Baked Beans is going to start using CiottiFPV for his binding phrase. All right, come on. Be working. Wow, what the hell? I mean, I do have the antenna, like, smashed down in there, but I can't imagine that that is the issue. What the hell? Yeah, no, the antenna is... I thought maybe the antenna was pushing against something, but it's not. I've tried it both ways, Brandon. I've tried it both ways. Let's try it the other way again. Receiver. So it lost the oh, well, it doesn't help that the module was not powered up a second ago, but okay, so let's try this again.
10, 9, 8.
I mean, Crossfire is great and all, but
6,
this happens
5,
every fucking time.
3, 2.
Let's click save, and then it'll fuck up again. Yep, there it goes. What the hell, dude? Like, I don't know, man. I can't. Oh my God, Express LRS, please, please prioritize the fucking user experience. Jesus Christ, I don't care how good the link is. If it doesn't work and it takes 2 days to get it bound every time, nobody is going to keep using it. Fuck me. This is awful. God damn it. I don't care whose fault it is. Like, somebody just fucking fix this. Jesus Christ, man. Like, I can't believe we put up with this. Yeah, and it's lost the bind again. What? Like, how does that even... How does it lose the bind when, like, after I hit save? What world is this? Like, it binds. Okay, great. Okay. I give up. I give up. I'm done. It's after midnight. I don't know. I give up. You win, Express LRS. You win. You've won again. I'll try again tomorrow. I don't know, man. Never finishing the HappyModel. Sorry guys, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't have it in me to keep going. Be good, friends. I'm gonna get out of here. Frank thinks it's because I don't update my shit regularly. His tone is pissing me off even more, so I'm just gonna bail. Be good, guys. Here's some more big booty hose from last night. No. Maybe this isn't a terrible song. Later. See you Wednesday.